Drills Talk, episode 61. In this episode, we're going to discuss the top 4 reasons you let them control you. This is based on a blog I wrote in the past entitled, Why Do You Care? This one touches on all the external validation and the need for external validation. It's why we post things that we normally wouldn't post, but we think it's going to get some sort of attention and we want that attention. So we kind of go the extra mile and post something that we wouldn't normally post, go a little bit outside of who we really are. And we don't understand that when we do that, we're actually giving the power away and we're losing who we are. We're letting people play us just like a PlayStation. Let's go. Drills Talk, episode 61. In this episode, we're going to discuss the top 4 reasons you let them control you. But before we get started, please like, subscribe, share, show your love however you would like to show your love. Every Monday here, we have a new blog, a new Drills Talk every Wednesday, new vlog. And every Friday, we have a new beat, an instrumental produced by me, basically showing you what I do when I'm not making videos for YouTube. Great channel to follow. It is, I think we're just over 3,000 subscribers and growing every day. And thanks for helping us grow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking whatever it is that you did. We appreciate it. Let's get started. Number one is they build your confidence. So if anything, if you're building confidence, it's great. But how are you building that? It's all coming externally. It's all from other people saying you're good, or, you know, a thumbs up or a like or whatever it is. We're thinking that if we don't get that, something's really going wrong. If we don't get that, maybe that picture wasn't as good as we thought it was. Or, you know, maybe the song that I released is not as good because, you know, the last song, we got like 1,000 likes. And this one, you know, I don't know what happened. We only, a little over 200. Something must be wrong. Well, the thing is, if you only look externally online, then you're not really getting a real feel. Now, it's different if you're performing and you see the crowd and you see multiple crowds and there's different mixes of crowds and nobody's liking it. Maybe that's not the song, you know? But if you're just on social media and you have different algorithms and, you know, the things work differently, depending on what actual site you're on, everybody who follows you is not going to see exactly what you post, right? It has to, you know, go through the little small group, and then that small group gets a little bigger. And if they respond, then it gets a little bigger. That doesn't always happen. You know, it could be the time you posted that picture or that video that it was just a not a good picture, or it was not a good song to be released at that point in time. You released it, maybe you posted it 12 noon and everybody's at lunch and everybody's posting 12 noon. So everybody who follows you and follows others are getting bombarded with pictures. So they may not have scrolled down to yours and seen it. So it didn't do as well as when, you know, you put a picture or a video up at 6 p.m. when everybody is just getting home and maybe not many people are posting, and then everybody who follows you, at least in that small group, sees your post. They like it. And then because they're responding to it, more people see it, probably around 8. And then more people see it, probably around 10. You know, things can go viral like that because of the good timing of the post. So you never know. It doesn't have to do with always, you know, was my work or whatever I shared not great? Was that picture not great? Was that song not great? You never really know until you get in front of people and you actually can feed off of what they're giving you. But the point is, when you give somebody the power of basically telling you what your craft is and what's good about your craft when they haven't really worked on it like you've worked on it, you're kind of putting yourself in a position to where your confidence and your well-being or your feeling good about yourself is based on the thoughts of a stranger who may not have put in work like you put in ever. And why do we do that? We don't know that we're doing that. We're thinking that we're trying to get our stuff out there, and, you know, we look at the likes and the comments as proof. But if we don't get those, then what? What do we have to go off of? And if that's where we're getting our confidence from, then guess what happens to our confidence? Exactly. Number two is you don't understand the power you gave up. The power you gave up was not only just your confidence, but your psyche overall. Is just, if I don't get the response that I've gotten in the past, then maybe I'm getting worse at whatever it is I'm doing. It could be as simple as you posting food that you cook and thinking that you're making strides in the kitchen because your food's tasting better. And maybe when your friends come over, it doesn't last as long. And you're like, okay, well, maybe I'm doing good. So let me take a picture of this and share it with the world. And you don't get the response that you thought you would get. So what, now you can't cook? That's how we think. And it's dangerous because you could be a great cook. You can be making strides that people usually take years to make, and you're doing it in weeks or months. But you're basically giving the power to somebody who's not even tasting the food. They're just looking at the picture, and maybe they didn't even see it. Again, if we touched on the algorithm, and maybe they didn't even see it. But because you don't see the response, you're losing all of your good feeling of, oh my goodness, I'm getting so much better. My friends love it. I know everyone else would love it. And then it's kind of like you dropped the dud of a picture and you don't know what to do about that. You see, your confidence should come from you. Your confidence should come from the proof of people who are actually eating your food, who are actually saying, okay, well, let me go back and get more before someone else goes and back and gets more. That's proof. But you're giving the power to somebody, your pictures are not scratch and sniff. You're giving somebody to say, okay, well, maybe I'm not a good cook because they didn't like my picture of my food. Maybe I'm not a good artist because they didn't like my drawing, my sketch. Maybe I'm not a good artist because someone didn't comment under my song. It's kind of a sketchy situation because, of course, you want a response from others and you want to see that, oh, even strangers like my work. But if that's the end all be all, then you're in trouble because it's some people who just get off on telling you that you're not good. So somewhere in there, you have to know that, okay, I put in work. I've listened to, whatever it is in my realm. And I know that my stuff is comparable. You have to tell yourself that because there's people out there that just want to tear you down. And you may be good, but they may be really good at tearing people down and they may be in a bad mood that day. So like, how do you handle that? What if they're the ones who, your picture or your video popped up on their screen and they're just ready to go in? Do you believe them? Or do you believe the proof that you have of people who are actually listening to the music and can comment on some of the lyrics and, understand some of the music transitions that are going on? And that's somebody who's actually listening, not someone who may have listened for 30 seconds, maybe unmuted it for 20 seconds and then said, hey, this sucks. Okay, that's their opinion for the 20 seconds or 10 seconds that they listened. That's cool. It's billions of people in this world, so keep trying to put it in front of more people, but don't dwell on what you get as a response if it's not a real intimate, well thought out answer, or it's a point where people are in person and they're seeing your work and they can ask questions and things like that. Just understand what these people have to go off of when they're scrolling and they maybe, don't want to see food. Maybe they, don't want to hear music right now. And you're taking that personally and having that affect your work. It should never do that. Number three is you want to control your creations. And I don't want to confuse you here, but of course you want to control what you create. But I'm talking after you set it free, after you've released it and let the world have it. You must understand that it's no longer yours. It no longer belongs to you. It is for consumption of everybody. And that's for them to love it, like it, hate it, or disregard it. And we have to be able to take that. I know it's hard because we do our work and we expect it to be consumed and loved as we do, but we don't love everything we consume. We don't love everything that's put out there for us to, have an opinion about. There's movies that come out all the time and people say, I hated it. I didn't like it. And then you watch it and you happen to love it. You happen to say, okay, well, I don't know what they were talking about. Well, this is why everyone has their opinion, but the movie is made already. It's not going to get better or worse than it already is. It is in its completed form. Just as you putting out that picture of you or food or whatever, or that music, that song is finished. If that song is a hit, that song was a hit in the studio. It doesn't become a hit after it comes out. And I know that probably sounds crazy, but if the song is great, it's great. If the script is great, it's great when the guy or the lady is writing the script. It doesn't become great later because of fanfare. No, that song is already great. People are going to like this because it's great. It doesn't become great because people like it. And I think that we kind of have that mixed up. I think we lose some of our thought process there, thinking that, okay, well, if a lot of people accept it, then it must be great. No, a lot of people accept it because it's great. So your focus should be on making the greatest thing you can make, taking the best picture you can take, making the best song you can make, drawing the best artwork you can do, designing the best clothing you can create. That's your job. That's when you control the creation. But as soon as you set it free, it's for public consumption. And we need to be okay with whatever comes back out of that. Steady, heads down, try your best. You always put your best foot forward and you have nothing to worry about. Number 4. Number 4 is you are insecure. And a lot of artists are. Myself included at times. You don't know. You put in the work. Yeah, I've been doing this a long time. I'm good. But what does everybody else think? And that's okay. But again, you don't want to put all your eggs on what does everybody else think. You need to prove to yourself that it's quality of whatever you're putting out. And again, whatever you're doing, compare yourself to the mainstream, compare yourself to the best, even if it's what you consider the best and it's not mainstream. If you're producing what you like, other people will like it. You wear nice clothes, you like nice jewelry, and you make nice clothes, and then you make nice jewelry. And if you like it and you see, this is something that I would wear, even if it wasn't made by me, then you got something going. If you are a rapper or a singer and you can play your songs mixed up into a playlist with top levels, mainstream songs, and you don't hear a drop off, you're good to go. Put your music out there, put your best foot forward. But if you do that and you can clearly hear a drop off, or all of a sudden the song sounds a little muffled, or maybe it's a little lower than everything else, or maybe it's not as crisp as that, then you got work to do. It doesn't matter if someone else says, hey, you need work. You did, because it doesn't sound to level of, a professional song. So it's fine if somebody says that. And you can say, you know what? Yes, I agree. But I needed to put this out there. I needed to get, in the mode of producing something, creating something, shining it up to the best of my ability and putting it out. Now, my shining is going to get way better as I continue, but I'm not going to hold on to something until I think it's perfect, because, of course, when I'm just starting, it's never going to be. You're never going to put out a perfectly sheened, sounding great, radio-ready song if it's your first time that you're creating something from scratch and mixing it and mastering it and putting it out there. It's just not going to match up. It's so much more education that you need to get there. And I can only speak for that because I do music, but I would assume or think that, in every field when you're beginning, you're not great. I played sports also, and I wasn't always a great shooter, but then I became a great shooter. It's just, things get better. It may be the best thing you do in that realm, but that doesn't mean that you're at your peak there. So understand that everything takes work. Yes, you will be a little insecure, but understand the better you get, the more you work towards what you're doing, the more, your chest will poke out, the more, confidence you'll have. You'll be a lot calmer releasing your work out to the world and being able to take whatever they give, because you know that you put your best foot forward and your stuff is just as good as the best that's out there. Drills Talk, episode 61. These were the top 4 reasons you let them control you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's drills.com. Check this shit out. It's Drills.